Hey Ranger Nation, welcome back to another video, and today I'm going to be talking why I think Kyuranger won't get adapted into the Power Ranger line if it continues. Anyway, if you want to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as that cheeky notification bell, you'll be notified when more videos drop. Let's just jump straight into it. Now, I know Kyuranger, a lot of people want this adapted, and I would like to see it adapted. I just think that it will get adapted in a different way, but not in the main line. I think that this would be perfect for animation because of the stories that you can tell, as well as many different characters. Now, I'm going to kind of break down a load of different thoughts on this, why it won't get adapted. Now, I think there are two main big reasons. One, that there are too many Rangers, and three, that there won't be enough product that they could make because we literally know what's happening with Dino Fury right now. From what I can kind of gather, Kyuranger focuses on the main team, 12 Rangers. Now, not straight away, but you do get 12 Rangers altogether, but you mainly focus on a few Rangers to begin with, and obviously the team grows. We know this. We definitely know this. I did kind of think, and this is one point I know people may bring up, but Dino Charge, that had quite a lot of Rangers as well, and that is true. But if you noticed how the pattern was, is that most of them just disappeared, and you had the main core line just there, but majority of them all disappeared and said that they would come and help. And I feel like if it did get adapted, Hasbro would implement this and be like, oh, this person's going off here, they'll be back, they're on a space mission right now. And we know that that would work. They'd be like, space missions? I love space missions. Something like that would happen. We know this. I would kind of think of it as like it would be a CW show at least, where, you know, they would say exactly that. And, you know how you see it in The Flash and all that. Oh, where's Cisco? Well, he just went off to Atlantis and he won't be back for a while. 3 episodes later, he then comes back. So that I generally would see it happening like a CW show. Now, they could do the Dino Charge approach and have them come back in suit only, but I feel like most of the story happens around the Rangers when they're not morphed. So I feel like that would be a thing. I feel that Hasbro would want to spend time on each Ranger because they like that world building, but I feel like trying to focus on 12 characters all at the same time, I feel like they would forget a few things, that they wouldn't keep it consistent, and that they would forget and then kind of like backtrack on it. I feel like that would be one of the worst things if they did that, because again, every single character would have a favorite Ranger that they want the most, and I feel like each character wouldn't get the proper treatment, and that kind of would irritate me a lot if I saw it. One of the biggest things would be cost in this. Every single person has to get paid. That's it. You can't just give them a ham sandwich and $10 and then think that it's fine. You couldn't do that whatsoever. And I feel like if you have 12 people compared to what you had originally, like 6 people, you then have to hire more stunt people, suit actors. You have to then hire more staff to either look after them, to, you know, more pyrotechnics, more cameramen, more everything. There is a huge increase in jobs, which is fine, which is good. That's what we want. But for one season, when you only have a budget, I think mainly they said it was like 22 million for the entire season, or like season 1 or 2, whatever. Like when you only have that budget, then you have to increase it because you've brought in more kind of elements to this, which would then cost them a lot more. And I feel like you wouldn't get the same kind of gratification than you would do watching the Super Sentai. If the series was bad as well, then this does kind of relate to thinking. Now, Kyuranger might be a great Sentai, people might love it, but when we've seen the adaptations, sometimes it doesn't live up to the expectation, and this could lead to drop of toy sales, which I feel would be a main thing. Kind of jumping back to the crew thing. Now, you also, to add into how much, you also have the hotel, their living cost, their food budget, their everything there. That's quite a lot. You've got drivers to take each actor there and back to what it is. That is a huge big thing right now, which would also add into the cost. So far, you've upped your entire thing so far, and that's quite a lot. So as I've written down, if the series costs roughly $22 million to make, or roughly that to make the budget around, would have to increase a lot to accommodate the production costs. And when you want to keep the cost down a bit or around that area, that it might put off wanting to make it. I do kind of think though that going down the animated route would be 10 times better, because then you have a lot more time to kind of prep, you have more time to go around it, and you keep the cost down, so you could make multiple episodes or seasons of this one particular series if it did really, really well. When I'm talking about characters, one thing that we're going to see is that they will change characters around. They will change them because it doesn't fit in with the series or something like that. So main characters that I think that you would see that would be changed or moved around would be Garo, Champ, Sharu, Rappo, and two characters at a push would be Raptor 283 and Kotaro. I think I said their names right. I apologize if I didn't. I think a lot of fans may react to Kotaro. I think that this is the Child Ranger. If people reacted to him like they did with Blake Foster back in Power Rangers Turbo, I know it's a different time, but he could get the same sort of treatment where people or kids might not like it that there is a kid actor. Remember how Justin was received in Turbo? No one liked him. There were a few people that did like him, but majority is a lot of people hated Blake Foster for being in Power Rangers in multiple times, and it just really irritated me because I didn't like him as a kid. So I imagine that this could be like kids could think exactly the same. I'm not saying it happens, but then you've also got laws where being a ranger you have to be 18. This is on the call sheets, this is a thing, because obviously you have to abide by the acting laws. The question is, would the fans be really happy that they change these characters because they're getting the Sentai adapted? Would that be a thing that people would be okay with, or would that just really irritate people? If you think that would irritate you or make you happy, let me know down below in the comments. I'm going to bring in another factor, and that is time. Now, Simon Bennett, Jason Bischoff, as well as Toei have said that the monster suits have a time limit on them. They have literally only a couple of years before that they start to degrade to get beyond repaired. Now, Hasbro did put a lot of money into repairing the monsters for Beast Morphers because they wanted to test it and see how it goes. But if you have to kind of go back and do this and put it in for other seasons, not just for Kyuranger, Lupin versus Pataranger, Torcuja, any of those series, even Zooja, you have all these seasons where you have to put more money into making the suits look perfect before they degrade. And I don't think Hasbro are going to do it because we've seen the toy ratings. We've seen the TV season ratings. They're not as good as what they were. And I don't think Hasbro would want to put a lot of money in for very little return. So before someone suggests and goes, oh, but what about the Ranger suits? Ranger suits are a lot more easier to kind of repair or make. Monster suits, not that much. Otherwise, you'd have tons of monster suits kind of everywhere. My other main point in this is the toy line. I don't think you would get every single toy out for Kyuranger whatsoever. I feel like when we've seen stuff from Dino Fury, we're now almost near to the end of the year right now, and now we're only getting Megazord toys, when normally we would see them at the very beginning of the year because that's what people want, that's what you want to sell. But at the time of this recording, which is the 22nd of the 7th, 2021, I feel like we've only had 4 figures, we've had a Morpher, and that's pretty much it. I know now we are getting like the sword, the Chrono Saber, or whatever it is, but we're now getting that, and then we're getting Zords much later on compared to what we should have been having at the very beginning of the season, which should have been all the toys. Like literally more figures, more Zords at least, not all the way till now, which is a big shame. Japan does it slightly different than Hasbro. Japan releases the gimmick of the series, the Megazord and the roleplay weapons, very early on to get people hyped up, to get people buying it straight away, so they can kind of like judge it a little bit. But Hasbro doesn't seem to be doing that, and that's a really big shame because I generally thought that they would. I know that Bandai of America had a big, massive kind of help within making of this series from the gimmicks and stuff, and I generally think that we would have had this series if Hasbro hadn't taken it over. I think that if we'd had maybe 1 more year or 2 more years later, I think that that would have been the main case, and we would have seen Kyuranger be adapted a lot quicker than seeing it now, because I think Bandai did see potential, where Hasbro I think will see potential, but not the potential that we want. This could be completely out of the blue, and this might be the fact that Hasbro doesn't want to adapt the series because Bandai of America had a very big hand in it. You know, they helped create stuff or they wanted to market it, and maybe Hasbro doesn't want to do it, or maybe in the contract says that they can't do it, even though that they hold the master toy license. Maybe there might be a clause in that one, or maybe they just don't want to touch it because Bandai had a help in it. At the moment, it feels like Hasbro are focusing on the Lightning collection because that's where the money is, you know, and that could be a possibly big thing. But if you also think of the sheer amount of product that is coming out of all of this, it's quite a lot if you think about it. You have roleplay weapons, you have Megazords, you have the Kyuranger, you have so much, and we know that there are fans out there that would turn around and say, well, I only want this one, and if this doesn't come out, then I'm not buying the rest. I'm only buying this one because it's my favorite range. I feel like people would complain. I think that you would get your basic like Kyurangers, you wouldn't get anything else, and I feel like, again, Hasbro would just release it much later on. Again, Dino Fury toys, that's all you have to see. And it's kind of worrying because from a business perspective, if you want more people buying your product, you'd have more product out there for people to buy and not just kind of glance over it, even though that you've bought it and this should be in your big baby thing to kind of throw out there and be like, hey, cool, let's make these like toys. But it just feels like they just can't be bothered. I feel like there's tons of stuff that could be looked more in depth. I do kind of really want to quickly bring up the Yellow Ranger. Now people are saying that, oh, the helmet doesn't matter. Yes, it does, because again, if you fell over or you could stab it, or a kid will pick it up and they could hit you with it, which there could cause a lot of problems. You know, I know that obviously with the Dino Fury Megazord, you got the Black Ranger one that has, again, like all spikes on it. But again, with a single point, that you could do a lot more damage. And I feel like a lot of people don't kind of see that. They just think it's stupid, etc., etc. But again, from a health and safety point of view, now if it were me, quickly, what I would do is I would sand that thing down so that it has maybe a little like bump or something, and just be like, if you want this Ranger to be released, that's what you're going to get. You know, and I think that the fans would have to accept it. I know that they could buy the Bandai version, but again, Japan is completely different. Don't know why they made it so pointy. It's just so really random. But anyway, I kind of want to leave it there. Those are my main thoughts that I've written down why I don't think Kyuranger will be adapted, because I just feel there's so many big things in there. You have the, again, kind of recapping, you have money, you have way too many Rangers, the toys wouldn't come out in time, and they would skip toys. We've seen it with the others, the other seasons, Beast Morphers and some of Dino Fury. But I'm going to leave that. What are your thoughts on this? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know down below in the comments. And if you like this sort of content and you want to see more, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, as well as that cheeky notification bell to be notified when more videos drop. Thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video.
チャンネルをサポートしてくれてありがとうございます。チャンネル登録、高評価お願いします。